everybody. Welcome back to The Pod Has Spoken, the Merge But Not Merge episode. And I think at the end we did see the merge, so we're there now, crossed that finish line. I am here with my forever co-host, Ashleigh Smith, also our producer. Ashleigh, how are you?
Doing amazing. Loving
Good.
Survivor.
Great. Good to hear. And we're here also with another co-host of mine, Riley McAtee. Riley, you are 100% on the season. You've been here every single episode.
Yeah, perfect attendance.
Perfect attendance. That's hard. I mean, even for like a starting quarterback in the NFL and stuff, a lot of times they don't do that. So big kudos. Thank you.
We're both dealing with injuries sometimes, but you play through it.
You do play. I mean, sometimes you play through it and sometimes you miss half a season just because you had a baby.
Yeah. Well,
do you think a quarterback would do that? Have a baby and miss half the season?
I don't know. Maybe I would, but those guys are just too addicted to the grind.
I guess so. They just love the game so much.
Depends on where your priorities are. I know where mine are.
Yeah. Okay. Family first, I guess. So old fashioned.
Yeah.
We are here with a Survivor legend. We had him on a few seasons ago, I think, and he is back. Reiman, formerly known as Spencer, Survivor Spencer to a lot of people, but goes by Reiman now. What's up, Reiman? How is life? I know you're living.
Dude, life is crazy. Life is very chaotic. I was just traveling through Ecuador for a while, away from my home. Now I'm back home in small town Vilcabamba, where people do call me Reiman, although I will say it's Reiman. It's a family name.
Somebody even asked me if it was Reiman or Reiman, and I was like, I think it's Reiman, and I'm so wrong. Sorry, Reiman.
It's all good. No, I don't mind, but I do want to clarify because with the Spanish-speaking people do say Reiman, and there's like people are like, "Who is this fucking guy?" Or sorry, can I curse? You want me to?
Sure, you already did.
Yeah, we can.
All right, great. I like to be profane, but yeah, people are like, "Who is this fucking guy who named himself King Man?" Because Rey is king in Spanish.
Okay.
So I do like to clarify that it's a family name and not a crazy ego trip.
So in Spanish they call you Reiman, but we're going to call you Reiman.
Right. Correct.
Do you have an ice cream truck in the background? Is that what's happening right now?
No, that's the gas truck, actually. The gas truck comes by and has this little jingle to give everyone their gas tanks.
Oh, okay. I like that. I have to go pick mine up at the store, so that's annoying.
Right.
I wish we had a gas truck come through because I just leave it. It's just for my grill, but I just leave it for months empty until Rachel's like, we're grilling salmon tonight. I was like, oh, are we? Because now I got to go to Home Depot. So...
Well, this is for our showers and stoves, so
to heat everything. Yeah.
Just the basics. Yep.
So you plug it in and it goes throughout the house, or you have to plug it in at locally, like at the shower and at the stove?
Like locally, but not necessarily next to the shower. Like usually you get a tube going through to the outside of the house in some kind of enclosure, and then you plug it in.
Cool.
There's a learning curve with a lot of these things, but I figured it out.
Yeah, good. I mean, yeah, that's what life is about, is learning. Let's get into the episode. There's a lot going on. The merge episode is always a big one. And I want to start right at the beginning. The night back, we get Cedric being Cedric and Say being Say. Can they stop being themselves, or is there just like no way around it?
No, they can try. Say tried really hard. She was like, loving Mary, and then there's a celebration of pastries, and it all goes out the window.
Yeah. There was that. And then she comes back and she's like, blames Cedric immediately for getting blindsided again. And then Cedric's like,
her.
I saved you. When she forgave him.
For a while until she voted for him later this episode.
Yeah, which was also
that was
bizarre.
her. Okay.
That was her.
Yeah, that was
Made
her
no
vote.
sense.
Made no sense, which was beautiful. I mean,
she's trying to get even, I think. She's like, he voted for me twice. I'm going to get some votes on him now. But, who
it's
actually
like
knows what's going on?
No, go
it's
ahead.
It's like the Abby Maria school of, mad because you voted regardless.
Yeah. My hope when I saw that vote was that Say is just going to keep writing Cedric down every tribal council just because to get his name out there. Like no rhyme or reason. And that's my hope. I was like, okay, here we go. Because I originally thought it was Mitch or somebody that was like, I just don't want to vote charity. So I thought he pulled the old, I won't write your name down if you don't write my name down. The coward's way out.
Right. Yeah, I figured Mitch was not in the know and was on the wrong side, and Say is just saying. And I love Say saying. I love angry Say. That's one of my favorite parts about this season. It's great. Bragging
it's
about
so
the
good.
food. It's really very good.
Yeah. One episode after the don't be a sore winner or whatever.
The whole it went on for so long, her telling every different group of losers about every single thing that was at the feast, which was so good. So good. The boats show up early in the morning. They have to know the merge is here. It's the same time every season every episode in the new era. I'm assuming it's no surprise, but everyone goes to Loggy Camp, and there's a few different people. People are excited to connect with their old tribe. People are excited to meet new people. People are excited just to get away from their current tribe. Is that what is your mentality? So put yourself in their shoes. You've been on this small group, then you got shifted to another small group. Now you're at the merge. What is your mentality going in? Is it going to be different for everybody, or should you have some willingness to just be adaptable no matter what?
Definitely need the willingness to be adaptable no matter what. I mean, any potential bond you've made could be useful, and the longer you can stay in superposition and kind of see where you want to go, the better. And insofar as people don't know that you're playing all the options. So yeah, I think the people from what's the Sun tribe that has 6?
Siva.
Siva, yeah. So the people from Siva have a lot of potentials, and then this group of Eva, Joe, Shaheen, Kyle, Camila, they've got a lot of flexibility. I think the flexibility is great. It can go too far, but going in for sure, you want to be friends with everyone, willing to look at any grouping.
Yeah. I also think, and this is just my perspective and how I played the game, that you can't rely on the bonds you've made that you haven't been able to upkeep. If you and I are a bond and we split, I have to assume you have new bonds and I have to create new bonds. And those new bonds are what I'm going to lean on more until I can reconnect with you and see how I feel about you and how you feel about me. But until then, that's on the back burner. I think so many people go in relying on something they built day one that then they were absent from for a few days or a week or whatever. And you never know. You see the one group build bond over their family's trauma and parents' struggles.
Right.
You're absent for that. That's a tight bond.
Right. Yeah.
The Integrity Alliance. I think that's what I'm calling them. The Integrity Alliance.
Yeah, can we talk about that? What is with these people thinking they can have integrity in this game? I don't understand. They all know what Survivor is, and you have Joe talking about how it's really hard to betray people who trust you. That's Survivor, and I don't know. It just seems so soft. And what are they talking about? We're gonna be honest and play with integrity and vote anyone out who strategizes. Yeah,
the strategy makers and the puzzle players are out, targeted. Finally, they've done that. We were hearing this on season 18 with Coach, the first to play with honor and integrity. It probably even started before that. And it never works out because there's 6 of them. How
you'd
does
have
that
to
work?
commit to the bit. You'd have to commit to the bit no one ever has. I mean, you'd have to actually fall on your sword. You'd have to. And to be honest, when I was thinking about going on 50, I was thinking about doing that. But if
falling on your sword, or just playing straight up?
I was thinking about playing just absolutely non-strategically, just goofing around, making jokes, not making any alliances, and being honest. But the only way to do it would be to be not a player. If you're going to be a player and if you're going to play, the only way to play is without integrity. So I don't know what these guys are talking about.
Yeah, I'm excited to see it play out and who has to lie first. I mean, they've all told lies. And the Integrity Alliance, we have Joe and Eva and who's the other really trustworthy one there?
Shaheen.
David. And Kyle.
David is the other trustworthy one.
Yeah, right.
Shaheen is part of it, but he's not going to play fully straight. Kyle has already part of it, but has already said, I'm lying already, and they don't understand.
Yeah, Kyle and Camila are players. But
David let's talk about
Joe
them. Let's talk about Kyle and Camila. They're going to go all the way? They're going to be able to commit to the bit the entire time? I feel like this is tried so often, and it doesn't work all the way to the end because you end up getting suspicious of one another by keeping that distance and being like, maybe they did build another bond stronger than mine. And they are telling me, like, if you and I had committed to this and we're keeping our distance, we're not fully able to touch base all the time. And at some point you see me like tight with other people, even if I come back to you, I'm like, no, it's still you and me. That's just our cover. I'm helping us. Are you able to fully ride with that?
I think it's very hard, but I think if someone can pull it off, I think they might be able to pull it off. Like they've done really well. They did really well in the group of four, like Joe, Shaheen. I was very impressed, honestly. And they're making a big deal out of both being Guyanese. I do feel like there could be something to that. Like there can be cultural bonds that just are over the heads of people from other cultures. Like I've noticed this in Latin America. Like people often in the way they speak Spanish, they communicate a lot with their tone and the way they say something or how long they drag along like an S or something. And there can be like so much subtext that can fly under the radar. So I think it's super hard what they're trying to do, but I think if someone can do it, I believe in them.
Okay. Yeah. I have hope for them, and they're so far on the same page. And I like that. And I hope that it keeps going because I love it. I love that the Integrity Alliance is like, Kyle's in, he's in for sure. And Kyle's like, on the outside, I love it, but I'm already lying to him. I've been lying to him the whole time. They don't know I'm lying, but I'm going to keep going with it. Is that the best spot to be in, the liar on the Integrity group?
Definitely the best spot to be in. That's like being the first person who's strategic. That's like being Richard Hatch in season one. That's like
I'm going to play with strategy. Yeah, I love that. I love that he's there. And I also like that he's like willing to own up to it. Because I think if you pulled in someone like Coach and he had already been lying, he would have convinced himself he hadn't lied at all. And he was, in fact, the number one leader in integrity on the Integrity tribe. So I love the fact that Kyle is owning up to being the liar in the group and laughing about lying to the Integrity group. And that's the way you got to play. Charity tried to play that same way. What's going wrong for her here?
I don't know. I feel like I didn't get to see enough of Charity to really understand, but it sounds like she would have been the first boot on her initial tribe. Had they gone to tribal council. It sounded like, she was just very overconfident, like thinking she had David in her back pocket when she didn't.
Charity, I feel, this is what I think. This is the vibe I'm getting from her, is she wants to play the game a little bit harder than everybody else and connect with be less vulnerable. So she's not willing to open herself up and make those connections and put that time in. She'd rather just play the game. And that's fine if the majority of people agree to do it that way. But when the majority want to connect and bond and talk about families and be vulnerable and share their struggles, you have to do that too. Otherwise, you're going to get left behind in the bonds department. And I feel like she never recognized that she needed to connect on a more personal level.
She said something interesting at Tribal too, where she was like, oh, some people didn't approach me. I didn't talk to them. And then later Eva was like, well, I made it my goal to go and talk to everybody. And it's like, that's, you can't, I feel like you can't blame other people that, hey, they didn't talk to me. It's like, well, it takes two to tango.
Yeah. Yeah. Can you explain that saying, takes two to tango?
we were going so heavy on the dancing party analogies at Tribal.
The bossa nova,
right
dude.
out.
Yeah.
What is Club Condo?
I've never heard Club Condo except from Jeff.
Jeff,
I've
he's
never
said it
heard that.
multiple times, and,
And he keeps saying it, and it's like, maybe I'm not old enough, but he's like, what? He's 15, 20 years older than me. I never heard Club Condo. Never.
This
Not
Tribal made me really realize, I'm like, wow, Probst is, he's getting up there. He feels a little dated.
He also wants Club Condo to be
a thing.
I think so. Reiman, Club Condo.
What is it?
You ever heard of that?
No idea.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Jeff was getting up there when he named the season Heroes vs. Healers vs. Hustlers, to be fair, but it's reached a fever pitch now with the robot Club Condo.
Yeah, the Club Condo and the Bossa Nova, which is, I think Elvis Presley is the Bossa Nova guy. So that's a ways. But Club Condo, somebody tell us. We have a lot of listeners out there. Where does Club Condo come from? Because I'm not Googling it. I don't want that in my search history or built into my new algorithm somewhere.
I was about to Google it for you, but maybe I'll protect myself too.
Yeah, protect yourself. And maybe us talking about it and all the microphones picking it up is already too late and it's hitting our TikTok algorithm, Club Condo.
Oh, for sure.
But I don't know where that comes from. So everybody is headed to Loggy's Beach and they meet, they hug. How about Say reconnecting with Mary and Mary reconnecting with Say? I think that was my favorite moment. And this is the juxtaposition I absolutely love on Survivor, when two players believe a different thing about each other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the music really highlighted it well.
Yeah.
It's like uplifting, coming back together, Say talking, and then Mary.
Yeah, I do not want to play with Say. It's so funny. It's so good. And why would Say think that Mary wants to work with her after the blow up at Tribal? Was it 1 or 2 episodes ago where Say told Mary nobody likes a sore winner, or what did she say? Something like that. At that point, I'd be like, if I'm Mary, we're done. You're calling me specifically out, unless you're Kyle and Camilla. That's not going to fly.
Yeah, that was ridiculous. It was like, I think maybe Say knows it was ridiculous and was just like so eager to reconcile.
Yeah,
but Mary wasn't having it. I love Mary.
Yeah.
Who do you love more, Mary or Say?
As entertainment, Say. Like there was this shot where Say had like a knife up to her face and was like on the warpath. I loved that. But I like love Mary more.
Okay. What is Mary's path to victory then? Can she win this game?
Sure. Yeah. I think who could win? Like not that many people could win. I was kind of looking it through. There are a lot of people that I don't think could, but yeah, I think Mary absolutely could. What's her path? Who's she with? Is she with this Integrity Alliance? I guess so.
No, she's not.
She was. Oh, okay.
She doesn't have a group. We don't know what group she's in.
Yeah. She's just like, that's what I love about her though. She's like a complete floater, wild card troll. Her Twitter seems amazing. I think she could win with humor. I think it could be one of those seasons, like maybe like Gabon, where it's just kind of a total clusterfuck, and then at the end you just who do we kind of like, and then they go for Mary.
Let's finish the joke. Mary wins.
I'm down for that troll season. I mean, this is the last 8 seasons have really been a troll on the audience. So
yeah,
I think it would be almost like a catharsis of the new era.
It would. I mean, she definitely has a path to it. She's under the radar right now. She needs to emerge more as, the driver in some capacity at some point, probably to win. Do you like getting to the beach and then having the announcement that there's an advantage out there? Go for it. Run.
Right. Yeah. So I think that's what I dislike about the approach in general, is just like the constant advantage stuff. Like I like the connections and the journeys of characters and human moments. And so the more they're like hide and go seek activities, the more there are just telling them to jump and they're all saying how high. To me, that's like less human and a waste of time. And like with that, it wasn't so bad. I mean, that led to a kind of fun moment with, say, like out sprinting Charity, but with like rolling dice, like, it's just unbelievable. It's just these things I don't enjoy.
Yeah, rolling dice. I'm a gambler. I don't even enjoy rolling dice in the casinos, even if I'm winning. It's boring.
Or watching people roll dice, or watching people narrate about rolling dice.
I don't think we'll see the dice back again. I think it's going to go the way of the what's that thing called? The sand.
The hourglass?
The hourglass.
Mm-hmm.
I purged the word hourglass from my brain, Riley, and now you just put it back in there. Ugh.
You asked.
Your fault. Is there a way we could rework this advantage where everybody shows up to the merge, they somehow have to work together, or you're finding clues to it, or I don't know.
Maybe like if you involve the social politics, that would be interesting. Like if people vote for who gets the advantage, that would be interesting.
How about this? And I just barely came up with it. And I'm sure you can poke all the holes in it you want. The sign is there and it says it's 20 feet down. Dig.
20 feet down.
They all have. Now you have to work with people. You can't not work with people to get this hole dug.
And then they dig down and discover club condos
underneath in a bunker. It's been there the whole time and nobody knew. And then that all circles back. Full circle, we finally all understand. No, but I think like force the group to have to rely on others to also get this advantage is a way to make it a little more interesting. Like that thing was just out in the open. If you just ran down the right path, you're there.
Right. Yeah, something social, something making them work together and interact, not just everyone run off and whoever picks the right path wins. Yeah.
Or maybe a mechanism where, you know how you get the codes, the nuclear codes, and two people have to twist a key in opposite places at the exact same time? Something like that, where people have to execute an action at the same time in different locations to make it work. Something where it bonds people a little bit. There has to be some communication. You have to trust in some people, but you got to try and hide it from other people. The only reason I said dig the whole thing is heroes versus villains. We all knew where an idol was hidden, and Russell literally dug like a 20-foot long hole 4 feet deep while we all just watched him. And literally, if we would have just watched him close enough, you probably could have jumped in and snagged it before he got it. But everybody was like, yeah, just let him do his thing. But I think if you did something difficult where some people were willing to commit to dig and others were like, it's not worth it, I'm just not going to. And then those people communicate. Any opportunity you have, in my mind, if you're a producer, to force people to connect is going to promote great gameplay.
Yeah.
Or entertaining gameplay.
Yeah. I like the way you're thinking. I would rather you be a producer on Healing from Survivor than the Survivor producers.
I also like it being physically hard enough or tricky enough that maybe you don't get it. Maybe 3 people work all day long before the challenge and nobody ends up finding it or getting it. And then they've spent their all of their energy on this. So then they go into the challenge and they're exhausted. Something like that. There's a risk and a reward, plus some communication with others. Do you, how many gallons of milk do you drink a day?
Man, I get down there and drink straight from the teat. I don't know about you, but I like to go right to the cow, you know, like
raw.
At least
raw dog milk.
Raw.
Is that
raw dog milk consumption?
Yes.
And then I'll get some cacao plants and grind them up and, throw some of those in my mouth, like to take breaks from the teat.
Chocolate milk. Yeah. Chocolate milk. That's the most natural.
Right. Well, I do. If I'm going to have milk, I will have whole milk. I'll give them that. But that is a disgusting amount of milk. And I wonder if that's like what is rotting the brains in this integrity alliance. Because as we discussed, like Camila and Kyle, they're not really like drinking the Kool-Aid. It's mainly Joe and David who are actually, doing this coach speak, which, to be fair to Coach, I don't know. I think I talked to him the other day, and I think he is a lot more with it than the show made him out to be. But the Kool-Aid milk drinkers seem to be Joe and David.
Coach now is definitely more than but the first season, he was all about the integrity. He really wanted to prove to the world that someone with as much integrity as Coach has can win the game.
Yes.
So he shifted a little bit since then in the gameplay. In life, he's the same, but in the gameplay, he's definitely understood that integrity only gets you so far in a game of Survivor. Eva also on board with the full integrity, but I get if you're...
How much milk does she drink a day? That's what we need to find out.
Well...
Don't know how on board she...
Well, she can't... She has a hard time deciphering if someone's lying to her, so she has to be on board. I feel like this has to be, like she has to sell this style of game to the people she's closest with. Otherwise, she has no chance.
It is kind of a dream come true for Eva. Like best case scenario for her. Like if you can return to the early days of Survivor where people didn't have strategic minds, then that's Eva's game.
Yeah. And Riley came up with a crazy idea off the show that he texted me about. Tell me what you think of this, Reiman. He said, if you're Charity, why don't you go to Joe and say, Eva told me she's not really autistic. She has a sibling who is. That's why she knows.
What?
And I was like, that's gnarly, Riley. That is so gnarly, Riley.
Dude,
Riley.
You're unbelievable.
I like dark.
Too dark? Is that too dark though? Because I was like, that's too dark. But also, like, I'm old. I'm softer now. I've got kids. Man,
I know why you were on the villains trad, man.
Riley, you think you'd have the stomach to really do that?
To tell somebody that they lied about their autism?
Yeah.
No.
It's a good idea, though.
Sorry.
No, you could go, Reiman.
I mean, like, that is a little too far, but I think, like, I don't know. I kind of am craving it. Like, we need villains on this. Like, I have a problem with, like, everyone is just, there's no villains. There's no one who's willing to be controversial on this season.
We needed Thomas to really stick around because he would have given us the, like, okay, we got to get Eva out of here confessional.
Yeah. He would have. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we got it from Charity, but Charity had no sway. Nobody was going to believe her. So even if she did go to Joe and Riley, I'll take the heat on this one. I thought of that myself. Riley did not come up with that idea.
Thanks for clarifying.
Wow, I can't believe you were just taking that, Riley.
Longtime listeners know I would never text something like that.
He'd save it for the show. He'd save it for the show. Charity doing that to Joe isn't going to sway Joe. Joe's going to be like, Charity's disgusting and dirty, and I can't believe the level she stooped for that. But someone more trustworthy to Joe, what kind of tailspin would that send Joe in a tailspin? Like, I'm just trying to think of, like, how do you break up that alliance?
You don't. The way he points at her, it's not happening. It's not happening.
And you can't get Eva to turn on Joe.
No way.
More likely than Joe turning on Eva, but yeah, probably not.
Okay. Yeah, I just am thinking, like, that's so tight, and that bond is so tight and so unwavering. And why would it waver? That you have to target it soon.
Yeah. I mean, that moment that they're going to get an Emmy for is almost worth more than $1 million already. So, like, even if it meant winning, I feel like they wouldn't do it.
Yeah. Eva might.
Eva, yeah, I could maybe see
Joe would give up. Joe would give up the win for Eva, I think.
For sure. Yeah.
So, which
what
is,
happens when you're a dad? You become self-sacrificing.
It's true.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you're in Kyle's shoes, that's like optimal to have Joe be
Totally.
so trustworthy and open about how trustworthy he is. Will Joe end up lying? Are we going to see Joe lie?
Yeah. Well, we already kind of have, right? Like, I forget how, but yeah, I think he'll do some lying, probably not well. And I don't think he can win. Like, I really don't think that many people can win, but I do think you're right about Kyle. I think like he's one of the few, and Camila, one of the few who could do it.
Yeah. I mean, there's a few there, and you never know. Like, if someone makes a shift, if David's like wants to play with integrity and stuff, but then maybe somebody wins a few challenges in a row, and all of a sudden David gets scared and ends up deciding to shift, or if he recognizes other people's bonds are tighter than the bonds he has with them. I think there's a few people in a position like that could end up shifting after they realize they're not at the top of the group. And maybe not. But yeah, that's an absurd amount of milk. I believe that's too much milk. But those guys both are bigger and stronger
What's
looking
the
than me.
proper amount of milk?
The proper amount of milk is a little teeny bit in your coffee.
Okay. I do a little, I have a latte every day. So that was what I was going to say. A latte's amount of milk.
Yeah.
It's a little more than that, but
And
it's not a gallon.
maybe once in a while, if your kids pull out the Lucky Charms and you have a craving for it, go ahead, splurge, have a full bowl of milk with those Lucky Charms. And if you even want to drink the milk at the end, the cereal milk, also,
You gotta drink the milk at the end.
I mean, everyone has a different opinion on that. But this is right. Riley's mind is so messed up. He,
Dude, the
like
cereal
first
milk? The cereal milk is
first the
great.
lying about the autism thing, and now the drinking the milk no matter what at
If
the
you're
end of
dumping the cereal milk down the drain, something's wrong with you.
well, what if the cereal milk has come to almost room temperature before you get to the point where you drink it?
How long does it take you to eat a bowl of cereal?
I'm just saying, I'm figuring out ways that
like
we're
waiting
going
like
to
an hour?
reject the milk.
That's never happened to me.
Okay. Well, that's the next podcast we're talking about is the milk consumption
Okay.
of humans and what is appropriate and what is sus.
We should talk about cereal too. Did you know that the Kellogg's guy, created cereal because he believed that masturbation was evil and he wanted
Yes.
to sterilize people, essentially?
By making the most bland, boring food imaginable.
I don't think it worked.
How much?
Well,
how many cornflakes do you need
it
a
might
day?
depend on the milk. If you drink enough milk, then you can keep your vitality.
Oh, it's the milk that's actually. Oh, you keep
He
your
overlooks the
vitality
milk.
with the milk.
He overlooks the milk. Like if you just
So-
have the cereal, then you will be sterilized, but the milk can save you.
Yeah. Wow.
Mm.
It neutralizes each other. Again, nature finds a way, It's
Nature with Tyson.
crazy that it could have, what could have been had Kellogg had his way. Do we get anything else here with, I think we went over everything before the immunity challenge. The main groups are the integrity group, the Siva 6, and Kyle and Camilla,
Yeah.
right?
Who-
Am I
who
missing
are
any other
within-
grouping? Who are within a
Um,
few different ways. And then we got the stragglers,
Yeah. Say, Cedric, Mary,
Mary Straglin.
Charity,
Charity. Well,
RIP. Immunity challenge. How do you like this new era mergatory style merge where they're in limbo right now?
It's
There's
very,
no buffs.
Mhm. It's very confusing for me, and it makes no sense because he's like, I mean, the merge means come together. So they have done the act of coming together and all playing the game together. To me, that's the merge. I don't understand this concept of like survive this vote to make the merge. I mean, it's not terrible. It's not something that like makes the game worse, like journeys or all these shenanigans. But I don't know. It's weird.
Does it make the game better in any capacity?
No.
It's just neutral. You're indifferent towards.
It's a bad decision, but it's not impactful. So like, it's something I would not do, but doing it isn't super harmful, I don't think.
Yeah. I do like that they all were open to be voted out, though. In past seasons, we've had only half of them. The losing group
really?
has to vote.
Yeah, like the winning group,
the winning group is all
get
immune.
immunity.
So then
yeah,
there's
so it's
6.
actually not as bad this
So this is
season. I think
better.
this is an improvement, but
Yeah.
at this point, it's like, yeah, you're just playing semantics. It's like, what part of this is not emerged? They just don't have buffs. That's it.
Yeah, it would have made more sense the past way. That would have been like, okay, this is a different format, but this is just like, okay, you merged, but you didn't merge.
They're trying to cling on to like that format, but I think also recognizing that having half the people immune is actually less interesting than when you get 13 people and 12 of them all are on edge.
And so when half the people would be immune, everyone's still voting?
Yeah, everyone would still vote, and it would be like, oh, these 6 are
They've done it both
and
ways.
these 7 are all immune.
I think, haven't they done it both ways where only the losing group also votes? Or has everybody voted every time?
Man, it's hard to keep track. It blurs together. But I thought it was everybody votes every time.
Yeah. I've never been good with the numbers 41 through 48.
It's really blurring together now.
So we split into 2. I'm assuming it was just random draw that the tribes were selected. Orange and purple. As soon as they're split up, Reiman, is there any part of you that thinks that Cedric's group can win?
Okay, so I'll be honest, I binged this season just to do this podcast mainly. I don't know, maybe I'll keep watching. I am having some fun. But I skipped all the challenges. So I was not aware of how terrible Cedric is at challenges. But then, now the narrative makes a lot of sense that he feels like a failure.
Yeah, he's failed at a lot of challenges. So I think I talked to you about this.
I was. You didn't think I
wasn't sure. I knew you could do a pull-up. I didn't know you said you hadn't done pull-ups for years. So then when I was like, you did, I think I had you do over 10 or something, which you did easily.
But you thought I could do 2. I said, how many?
I thought you could only do a few.
Yeah.
Because you hadn't done any because if I hadn't done pull-ups for a couple of years, I wouldn't be able to do more than 2, I don't think. But pull-ups, if you're only going to do one exercise for Survivor before you go out, get to the point where you can do as many pull-ups as you possibly can. I believe that, and that's again, if that's the only exercise you're going to do. If you're not going to do anything else, just keep doing pull-ups for months and months and months and months and do as many as you can. Would it be easier to lift one of those 400-pound snakes up that wall than like Cedric literally was like a ragdoll just laying there as the entire group bonded together, pushing him up that.
Yeah. And I saw a clip, Joe was like telling him to walk on him.
Yeah.
So Joe's like doing a pull-up of 2 guys for Cedric.
and Mitch was like locked into the net and lifting him up. And he literally was just laying there whimpering. And I also texted Matt Van Wagenen and was like, I need a season of only Cedric-like performers and challenges.
That would be a great returning player season. Jatia, Cedric, get all the challenges.
Suri would be there. Like everybody that would have really struggled to get up that wall is locked in.
I would watch challenges on a season like that.
And then we need challenges where, we need challenges like this where it's just every limb is just like shaking as they're trying. And the harder they try, the less likely they're going to make it. I felt bad for Cedric here, but and I get it. Like you get there, you've done all that mud stuff. And if you're not physically fit, it's brutal when now you have to climb up this thing and do a pull-up. And a lot of people can't do pull-ups. And that's understandable. But I'm telling you now, if you're practicing fire for Survivor, if you've gotten that far, you should also be doing pull-ups every day on your way to the island.
Yeah.
Riley, you get that?
Yeah, I'll start.
Okay. Reiman, were you doing pull-ups, Reiman? Yeah, we always have Riley trying.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
If we see any veteran players that are doing a bunch of pull-ups soon, we'll know they're on 50.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Pull-ups are great. They're a really good exercise for me. I'm really bad at the bench because I'm all lanky and, have a very long distance to press. Yeah. But for pull-ups, I'm super light. It's a good area for me.
Yeah. I mean, and push-ups and stuff like that, but I really do think pull-ups. Do you disagree with that and think there's a better exercise if you were only going to do one thing to prep for Survivor? You think just jogging?
I would swim. Yeah.
You just swim, make sure to get your swimming laps in every day.
Because that's like a full
I would
body.
swim in cow milk if I could. Just get enough cow milk to fill a pool.
To ingest the cow milk while you're swimming to get both of those things in.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm a good swimmer, and I am a cardio master. So for me, I would forego that, knowing I'm in the top 1 percentile of anybody at both of those things, anyways, and do pull-ups, because pull-ups will also help with swimming.
Fair enough. And that's true. What I liked about you when I first met you is that you were very openly arrogant. And I like that. You said you're better than most everybody at most everything.
Yeah, I stand by that. I still agree with that. And nobody's proven me wrong yet. So until someone does, that day will come, right? Where I'm not. And I do not want that captured on national TV.
Right. Yeah, you got to get out of the public sphere or something.
I need to discover that. I need to discover that outside of the public sphere.
Right. Like, don't be a president who never knows when. You got to find your time to duck out.
Exactly. So hopefully I can figure it out. And it's not just a big setup for like, Tyson used to be good. Now he's a chump. I don't want that moment on TV. It's coming. Riley, Ashleigh, I know it'll be there at some point. I'm 45. But I just don't want it to happen.
Just now on TV.
Just keep doing pull-ups.
Just in front of your daughters.
Yeah. Do pull-ups until Bergen is legendary enough that she redeems you, and she's epic enough that no one cares that you suck.
Okay. That's a good idea. Yeah, I'll rest it all on them. That's smart. That's smart. Puzzle happened. The Orange was never close. They were never close enough that it made it real sweaty, I don't think.
Wait, really? I thought they were kind of getting a little close. Could have been camera angles and stuff, but they made it sound like they had all the momentum.
Yeah, they did make it sound, but I didn't really pay attention to the background. For people at home, the challenges a lot of times are designed so that they can edit them to seem close even if they're not. Sometimes they'll run challenges to 10 points, but they'll say to 5 points on camera. That way both teams have 3 or 4 points to edit from. I believe the puzzles a lot of times are the same. They'll show like that orange tribe. They'll show like at the end right before purple won, but then the timing is off. And maybe that's not the case. Maybe purple really did, or orange really did have a close comeback win, but I don't think so.
Yeah, it's true. To tarnish my legacy and give you something behind the scenes, because you said that's fun. The immunity challenge in Cagayan where I lost, they did edit it to make it seem as if, it's kind of a little neck and neck-ish with me and Cass, but I was way out of that. I was brain dead on that puzzle. Cass was, won easily.
Yeah, and that happens often. So Reiman, this is my belief on the challenge edit stuff, that if you are not close like you weren't to Cass in that challenge, but it showed you close, that's great for you. You're at home, you kind of look like it was close. I think for your psyche, that's better. But if you dominated for Cass, she's probably at home watching it like, dang it, they should have showed me really hammer Spencer there. Or sorry, they showed me really hammer Reiman there.
It was Spencer there, and it
was Spencer there. That's right. Reiman wouldn't have let that happen.
No, Reiman definitely wouldn't have let that happen. Reiman would have won.
You heard it here first.
So I haven't actually lost a cast in that challenge, but
you haven't lost any challenges on Survivor.
True, I haven't been on Survivor, so I don't know why I'm on this podcast. I thought I was going to be on Survivor, but no.
Yeah. We get down to this, the individual part. So the first 6 win, it's purple. They're excited. They're covered in mud. They're ready to go. They can't wait to eat their feast. And then we get this ready on your mark, get set, balance challenge with the ball and the telescoping rod. And I thought of like, because we get these challenges a lot and there's a lot of balance stuff, and balance is a part of these Survivor challenges. What if, and would it make it more exciting if it was this, but coupled with those stacking ones where it was like whoever has the ball the highest at the 15-minute mark is the winner?
That would be good. That would also like avoid things like what happened with Joe and Keith where they faint. So that'd be safer.
Yeah. It'd be safer, but also there would be a rush, but also the balance element would still be there, and also some timing involved, and production would know exactly how long the challenge is going. So you wouldn't be there for 2 hours. These are designed not to go 2 hours for sure. But I was just thinking that I was like, I think it would add an element of chaos, which is what we want in the new era, more and more chaos. So for me, I think that would be a little improvement on just going as long as you can. Riley, you like it? Ashleigh, you in?
I'm in.
Well, it's a different twist on like we've seen this kind of like balance something, you're going to add something. That's a different way to do it. I like that. Yeah. I'd try it out at least.
Because you have to start over every time you drop the ball, and then you're realizing where the limit is and how to get there at the 15-minute mark.
Yeah.
And Jeff's not telling you, maybe there's a countdown at like a minute update, or at the 10-minute mark, at the 15-minute mark, something, whatever. I feel like even piecing that story together would be more exciting as a viewer.
Yeah.
Plus like the potential to get really close and then lose it all. That's much more drama.
Yeah, exactly. To get that close and be holding it and then drop at the 14:45 and then try to rebuild and somebody comes from behind. It's a whole thing. In my mind, it's beautiful. Kyle wins. Kyle versus Star. And he gets his merge buff. And Kyle's celebrating. They go to the feast, and everyone covered in mud. They don't even give him time to clean off. Do you like that? I mean, it doesn't matter. I understand why they do it, because Survivor, you want to look gnarly. But I'd be worried about getting mud in my mouth.
I mean, they don't allow them to clean off, right?
Yeah, they don't. You can clean off later. They put them somewhere where they can't, or they just are like, you only have this much amount of time.
They do that. I guess they want the like aesthetic of like, oh, they were so hungry, they just went right for it. Didn't matter that they were covered in mud. But it's like, it's just kind of gross watching them like pick up brownies and stuff with like muddy fingers. And I don't know. What's the point?
The point is that it's Survivor and it's supposed to look hard and gnarly. Yeah. And these players are supposed to look like they've been through it. And that's why they do any of the challenges with the mud and with the oil sliding, because then the dirt sticks to you the rest of the time. And you show up like the lady who always had ash on her face last season.
Well, she was like putting it there. She was like trying to contour.
I don't think she really was. I think that was the story. There was a lady last season, Reiman, who always face was so dirty. And that was the only storyline on Twitter about her, was just like, why is Sue's face always so dirty? And she was this older lady, and like the speculation was that she was trying to contour with the ash on her face to make her cheekbones pop and all this stuff.
It is really weird.
And there was even clips of her telling other people that they had something on their face, which was just so great. And so this just is like builds the story of Survivor and how rough it is out there. And it is rough, but this really puts a stamp on it for the viewers at home. And that's why they do it, Riley. There's no reason other than it looks gnarly.
Yeah, I get that. I feel like it just doesn't add enough. I just am like, just let them wash off. It's not that big of a deal.
You're too soft, Riley.
Yeah, it's
fatherhood.
I do think Survivor has to combat all these soft players who like get 5 or 6 people together saying they want to transcend strategy.
Yes. Transcending
gotta do
strategy is
something.
the new strategy.
Actually,
Mary,
it could be.
go ahead.
I think there could be something to that. Maybe not in the way they're doing it, but when I was in Cambodia, there was a moment where it was just like after the merge, it was so chaotic and everyone was playing. Everyone was hyper strategic. Everyone was lying and willing to lie to everyone. And so then everyone's work kind of became meaningless. And I had a moment, like a eureka moment, where I was like, what are we doing? And how does strategy even work if everyone's completely strategic and lying? And then people did want to play with Jeremy, I think, because he felt good to be around. And I felt like I did see this potential that Survivor could go like full circle to what it was in the very beginning, where people weren't strategic, because people just get so strategic that they render it meaningless.
Yeah. And it is true. You do get to that point, and Jeremy does feel safe, and he's reassuring. His words are always reassuring. Don't worry, I got you. I think that's his famous line. I got you. Says it to everybody. Works. But in those moments of chaos, you are looking for someone like that, even if you're not willing to give that to someone else. Like, you're like, who do I trust? And I can lie to everybody and maybe not to them as much or direct them. But I do agree. I think in those moments too, just sitting back and not doing any of the strategizing and letting it come to you, it can also be powerful. So we get Mary opening up to the group. She wants to talk game immediately. And Star knows she's not supposed to name names, but she's going to name names.
Yeah, Star, her strategy is very interesting. I noticed on the keynote that she's a sales expert. I'm not sure what that is. Like, I know people work in sales, but she's a sales expert who gives idols to people for nothing. So I'm not sure where her head is at.
Is that a bad move to give that idol away after everybody knows about it?
No, I mean, because the worst case, she could just play it immediately. You'd rather have it and play it immediately than give it to someone else.
Yeah, I guess that is true. Although she did win Eva all the way over, it seems, by doing that.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
I don't know. I feel like it wasn't a terrible move. I don't think that strategically Star did that for that reason. She's still claiming she did it because Eva actually was the one who solved the riddle and earned it and deserved it and all of that. But strategically, I think it works out in Star's favor in that it gets the heat off of her. And Eva is like so tied into her now because of that unless Star betrays Eva, Eva's not betraying Star.
Yeah.
I don't think.
Yeah, there's an upside. Yeah.
So, so everybody at the merge feast talks about Eva's idol and Mitch's block a vote. And I love how even though Eva's whole tribe last episode knew about the idol, they're all whispering about it like only they know. Nobody knows this, but Star gave Eva the idol. Everybody knows. Why does, like, I think 2 people said that this episode was like, a lot of people don't know Eva has an idol. It's like every single person knew from the very second it happened.
Right. And Star herself claimed it was like, said something like, oh, I didn't know Eva had an idol.
Yeah, that was great. Like, I heard that. You gave it to her.
Yeah. How did you not know?
In front of everyone.
Yeah. So good. And so it's all out there. The losers in the ocean. Is it better in these moments? Like, because we've had this discourse before. Is it more powerful here, Reiman, to be on the winning group and eating the feast, or commiserating in misery with the losers?
It could depend. Misery bonds people a lot more than good times. So I do think that is a better opportunity for bonds. I'll go with that. I think that's better.
Yeah. I think the best thing you can do here is win outright, win immunity. But if you can't, being with the losing group is more powerful of a bond. I don't know that it really mattered in this situation on this season, but bonding over pouting, and then bonding over pouting about not getting the food generally is pretty powerful.
Mhm.
And the losers in the ocean start filling each other out. And Charity, well, she's just playing too hard and too fast. Ask what tribal is like. Joe tells her it's awful. She says it could be easy. And nobody likes Charity. What is what is wrong with her?
I don't know. We haven't seen enough to know, but something's wrong with her.
Or people think something's wrong with her.
Something's wrong with her relating to the group.
Yeah. She just
anybody
seems to not click with
only Mitch.
Mitch.
Yeah. And Charity is like Say, I guess, in a few ways, where she's just willing to throw names out and hasn't felt tribal council yet, so she doesn't realize how dangerous it is to do that. And she's targeting Eva, but then decides that that's going to be too tricky, so goes with Say. Sorry, Say.
Do you think Say's listening? I hope Say's listening.
Say's listening. Is there anything that Charity could have done in this instance and situation to not have it be her? Like, what is Charity's proper gameplay here? She had sitting duck already. There was no hope for her, or could she have played this different?
I just feel like her problems begin way earlier. The fact that she was on the bottom of Siva and didn't even know it. It's just like she happened to get grouped with people that she doesn't really vibe with, and she wasn't even fully aware that maybe she wasn't as close with them as you need to be on Survivor, and that just dooms your game.
Yeah.
There's definitely no hope for her becoming trustworthy at that point. I think the only play for her was throwing someone under the bus, and maybe the lying about autism is too much, but she's got to
I agree, Riley.
She's got to throw someone under the bus.
I think she tried to throw someone under the bus and nobody was willing to accept it because it was her. I think she would have been better to not do anything, to not be the first to talk, to not name names, to just kind of go with the flow, to let other people feel like they're making the decision and agree with it and go that direction. And I think that would have been a hard reset to her game. And I feel like it could have worked to go and be like, what do you guys want to do? Just let me know. I want to do that too. I'm willing to work with you. Let me know the name. And I think that was the only thing she could have done. Winners come back and regroup with the losers. And we get that beautiful moment. Maybe the best moment of the episode. Say, we got to talk about again. Say, just talking about how amazing the feast was to every single individual on the loser's side. Is that gameplay or is that just Say being Say?
I think she can't help herself. How would it be gameplay?
I want it to be gameplay.
Just to be so annoying that you know that they're not voting for you because everybody's willing to keep you around because you're not a threat.
Yeah, the intentional goat strategy, be the most annoying person you can possibly be and they'll never vote you out.
Yeah.
I don't think it was strategy this time because she literally said that she was staying under the radar.
Oh,
this
she always
time,
says she's staying under the radar.
Staying under the radar. This time's going to be different.
She said, she was like, well, you have more intel, so I'll just follow you guys. And then she threw the only straight vote onto Cedric. So I don't know what she's doing.
We've gotten multiple moments of her saying, I'm going to lay back, I'm going to lay low, only to her immediately step into the driver's position as quickly as possible and boss everyone around. And I love that. I love that keeps happening. And I love it here too, laying low. But first I'm going to tell everybody, and then I'm going to try to push a vote. And it's just so good. It's so good. And we get a touching moment with Star and Cedric. I mean, Survivor's tough. Survivor's definitely tough. And we hear about it more during Tribal Council. But Cedric feels like it's his fault.
'Cause it
Mostly
was.
because it is. Yeah, mostly because it always is.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think this is where Charity was lacking, is just a moment like this. Charity would never have a moment like this with anybody other than maybe Mitch, which I think she did have moments with Mitch a little bit like this. But you have to find people when they're at their low and comfort them and let them know it's going to be okay. It's how you lead a cult. It's how you win favor with people. It's in general. If I see someone's down and you're able to recognize it and then talk about it and then let them open up to you, or you open up to them a little bit, goes a long, long way.
Yeah, it's very powerful. I mean, Terry Dietz, who had like almost no social game, totally succeeded in the social game by doing that with Abby Maria. That's sometimes all it takes.
Yeah, I agree. And it's and Star, I think, Star's been on a slow build this season. Mm-hmm. Originally, she felt like she was the outcast on the tribe, and she worked her way in with Eva and Joe because of Eva. And now she's got this moment with Cedric, and she's on this upward trajectory towards doing very, very well.
Yeah.
Can she keep it up? What does she need to do next?
Just keep working. Just keep talking to people like how she's been doing. Because
what's her group? Because
she doesn't have one.
She's one of the outliers.
She's like Mary and them. Yeah.
Yeah.
No real group.
So where does she go? What's her best move? Everywhere?
Mm-hmm.
You can't.
I think she should keep it up.
Okay.
If she keeps doing the thing where she is literally talking to people after their big emotional thing or during their big emotional thing, I think she's kind of found like you just said, find them on their saddest points, find them on their most emotional points, go up to them and give them just like, hey, a little bit of comfort. And then suddenly she has an accidental alliance with this person. I think she's doing a really good job just kind of finding an emotional backdoor. Finding an emotional backdoor to these people and just, connect.
Yeah, I think that's correct. It is that if she's going to go far, it's going to be on her social game.
She could actually do what David and Joe want to do and like transcend strategy, actually, having given away the idol.
She might be the one.
What a twist.
Yeah.
What a twist. At the end, her speech is, everyone lied. I'm the one who didn't lie. You all talked about not lying. I was the one that did it. How can you not vote for this? Man.
30 seasons later, Coach's vision fulfilled.
It only took 30 seasons to do that. I love it. I actually love it. I think she's doing well. Mary, what can she do? We see this scramble. We see that the names are Charity or Say. It's not surprising. I was hoping for a twist and it was going to be somebody else that we didn't. I was hoping kind of Eva was going to get targeted enough for her to like start also scrambling, because I think that will be fun moment when she realizes she's under pressure. But for now, it's so straightforward. I just want to talk about, what is Mary's path forward? What is Mitch's path forward? Are they going to, these stragglers, where are they going to go? What is their best maneuver?
So the people on the outs are Mary, Star, Mitch, Chrissy.
Say and Chrissy.
And Cedric was in the numbers.
Cedric, no. Also Cedric kind of out. Like they could have a majority. We have the Siva 6. Are any of them in the Siva 6? I don't even remember who original.
Charity's out.
Charity's out.
The Siva 5 going
Chrissy,
forward.
Siva 5.
But Chrissy's not really, yeah.
But they haven't talked much about the Siva 6 or the Siva 5. And it's broken now.
They're broken up.
Okay. So we have Integrity, and we have Kyle and Camilla.
Plus, like, Camilla gets roped in there. Yeah. Because the Integrity group is Shaheen, Kyle, Joe, Eva, and David. 5.
Yeah.
but then
But no,
Camilla was with Kyle.
they had 2 more. There were 7 votes on Charity.
Yeah, there's more votes on her, but
Yeah.
people don't know where the lines are with the integrity group and with the SIVA 6.
Even
and
this integrity group, like they had some of their votes were on Say and some were on Charity.
Interesting.
So
Yeah.
I think that they intentionally I think they knew that Charity was going home, but they broke it up to keep the lines
Just in
split.
case.
Okay.
Oh, interesting.
Smart.
Okay. So the outliers, where do they go? What do they do? Can they band together? Will they recognize it, or are they going to keep getting played? Will Kyle and Camilla rope the outliers in and go against the integrity group?
Probably. Yeah, that's probably Mary's move. Connect with those guys.
I feel like Mary is a good, like, I could see her bonding with some people and forming some alliances and stuff. It's harder for me to see that for, like, Say, for example.
Yeah. Do we have anything else before we go to the tribal council? Anything memorable we missed? Anybody?
I want to talk about the fact that everybody got mud on their face except for Mary
Yes.
during the
And she
during
was
the challenge.
so fast through that.
That was amazing.
Use the
and
poles to pull your way through the mud. So
fantastic.
So there was the great over, and you had to dip down into the mud, and she flipped on her back, pulled all the way through. That's also how you do underwater challenges. If there's something to pull yourself down or hold yourself down, use that rather than tread water, because it's going to be faster and more efficient. And Mary really put on a clinic on getting through the mud. The future of mud attempts in challenges. Mary revolutionizing the game, going to be on Game Changers 2. It's season 51.
I'm super ready for that. She is so graceful.
She is. Yeah, I like that. Tribal Council. House party after you've just had small get-togethers and you don't know who's going off to the bathroom together. You also get the dog bark and the butt, and the butt sniffing, which
was the only thing that made Jeff laugh.
Yes, and Cedric knows a thing or two about that. It was I think the thing that made Jeff laugh at the end. But Jeff wanted to go back to Club Condo and the house party.
And the robot. Jeff's moves. What moves?
The Bossa Nova. He called it the Bossa Nova, though, I think. I don't remember.
He did both. Man.
He did both?
Yeah. He was doing all his moves.
Yeah. Yeah. And I like that analogy, though, the small get-togethers into the house party, which does definitely make it chaotic. And everyone's talking about being vulnerable and trusting people and integrity. And Shaheen touches on it a little bit more. And I think this is important for viewers and fans to understand, because I see this on Twitter all the time. Why do they connect so hard? Why do they cry when they're missing people so much on Survivor? Your senses are heightened. You're with these people so constant, and you're in such a vulnerable state that you're also sharing intimate moments with these people. And Shaheen just said it, like, I've shared things with these people that I haven't shared with my own family.
That's crazy. But I believe it. Yeah, because you're right. Like, you could, date someone a couple hours a week for years and get to know them less than, being on Survivor with them.
Yes, exactly. And so I think that really puts the stamp on it there with why people cry when their families show up on family visits, why people miss home so much, why they're so homesick, why people are so close and have a hard time cutting each other when it's only been a week. And all of that is why. And Shaheen really nailed it there. And Charity bringing it back to full game mode, saying she's here to win Survivor, and that's her only goal, one goal in mind. This is the nail in the coffin. Like, there's no part of me that's not thinking Charity's going home at this point as she says that, and everyone side eyes each other. Like, okay, we were talking about vulnerability, and you're telling us you have one goal in mind to win Survivor. Yeah.
And they know she's going home too, or a lot of them do. Must be sweet music to your ears to hear the person going home being like, I'm here to win.
Yeah, exactly. As they shift the conversation to them wanting to win from how intimate moments people have had on the show. What is the balance? Since we already know Charity goes, RIP Charity, what is the balance between talking to people and being talked to? Touch base on that a little bit. Riley mentioned it earlier at this tribal council, because there is a balance. If you're scrambling too hard and going and making sure you're talking to everybody, everyone's seeing that. But you have to put some work in, but you also have to trust that other people that have your back are putting their work in and helping you without you having to scramble as hard.
Mm-hmm.
What is the balance? If you go back, if you went back again, what would be the balance there for you?
Well, I mean, the way I was approaching it, like with pre-gaming for season 50, was just letting everything come to me, not seeking anything out. Yeah. Also because I sensed that like a majority of people would not want to work with me. I don't know if you've noticed, but the Survivor sphere is pretty negative about me on the whole, which is why I really appreciate you talking to me and having me on. And not like, have you not noticed this? Is this news?
I haven't noticed it.
No, I mean, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I think people know what I'm talking about. I mean, there's a huge perception that I'm a transphobe and that I'm like a conspiracy nutter. And a lot of survivors, I think, out of fear of being associated with that, distance themselves from me, don't want to talk to me.
Are you those things?
No, never have been. It's crazy I even have to clarify that.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I decided not to get the COVID vaccine. I think that's why a lot of people assumed I was a conspiracy nutter. But no, I have no hate for trans people. I'm not a nutter, but a lot of people think I am. So in my situation, I felt to just kind of play it cool and see if anyone comes to me. But it's always situational.
And were you feeling that in those phone calls, in those pre-game phone calls for 50 with these players?
There weren't too many of them, but from the ones there were, I was feeling that. Like people wanted to clarify, like, you don't really hate trans people, do you? And I'm like, no. But yeah, for sure, I was feeling that. It's always situational. Like if you're already kind of like potentially on the outside, then I think you have to be especially wary of going out and trying to push things.
But you also can't be alienated. That's the trick is when you're feeling on the outside, you have to get in a little bit, but pushing too hard is bad too.
Yeah. I mean, I was biding my time and seeing where I could get in by letting things come to me. But eventually, if nothing came to me, of course, I would have to try and go and do something. Yeah. It's always a balance. Like you need the action. You need to go and make something happen or nothing will happen. But I think in general, like, the seeking, the pushing should be used as necessary. And you got to feel the vibe. I think that was like Charity's big struggle is she just wasn't like receiving vibes. She was in her vibe.
Yeah. She wanted everyone's vibe to match her vibe without matching other people's vibe. Or matching the group's vibe as a whole. Because you do need to match the group's vibe. You need to sing Kumbaya at night. If everybody's singing Kumbaya, that's what you do. If everyone wants to pray, you just got to sit there and listen and say amen at the end of it. If everybody wants to go around and give what they're thankful for every night before they go to sleep, you just got to do it, no matter how painstaking it is, no matter how much you disagree with what the thing the group wants to do is. And sometimes it's a challenge. And especially if you have that stance or those morals where you're like, I won't let people dictate how I do things. I'm not the group think. You have to group think. Sometimes you have to just be a sheep in some of these moments. And
you need both. You need both because like it's a tough balance. Like you got to be like the pro-sociality is essential to fit in. But if that's all you have, you're completely fake. You're not even a person. You're just water in a bowl. And so you have to have the authenticity also.
Yeah, I agree. So Star saying, yeah, we're a family, but you don't have to love your family. You don't all get along in the family, and everybody talks about their approach. Say talks about the cliquey group and the lines are going to be drawn here. David, the game is built on honesty and integrity, unlike any other season. How much longer is this going to go on? Are we going to get a couple more weeks of this, or is it going to blow up? I want it to blow up next week. I want the Integrity Alliance to implode on themselves.
Yeah, I'm ready for that.
How does it happen? Your ideal scenario with the Integrity Alliance imploding.
Ideal scenario, David starts producing milk through his 4 nipples.
Okay.
Because he has too much integrity.
Yes.
And then, everyone wants some, especially Joe, but he can't give it to everyone. He has to choose.
This is a fan fiction.
Yeah, what else am I going to do? I mean, it's more exciting than rolling dice.
Yeah, I think you have to have someone like Shaheen or Kyle.
Yeah.
Kyle's going to probably want it to go for as long as possible. I'm not sure if Shaheen does. But I think especially if you don't feel like you're in the top, or if Eva and Joe's connection's too powerful, you pull in those stragglers because there's still so many stragglers. Are they going to just keep picking off the stragglers until the lines where one person jumps and the stragglers are the majority? Is that what we're going to get to? Or 2 people with Camilla and Kyle?
Yeah, I think it's going to be Camilla and Kyle turning on the integrity people, working with people like Mary, maybe people like Star, the stragglers, the wild cards.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe where it breaks down for David is if all those people criticize rom-coms and burst his bubble.
That's the end of it. Yeah.
His bubble's got to be burst. There's got to be a bubble bursting with David.
Where it's just a wake-up call for him, but he's like, I have to lie.
He just goes full dark. He does a 180.
Or he lies and then at the end maintains that he never lied and believes himself that he never did. Could also. Time to vote. And the votes came out very interesting, I thought. Like usually you don't get this full lead and then swing the other way. Usually it's back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So when the votes started coming out heavy in Say's favor, I was like, oh, it's Say. And then it switched back to Charity. The second we saw the Charity vote after 3 Say votes read, I knew it was her. Yeah. Say's relieved, though. You can see her relieved as soon as the Charity vote pops out after a few votes.
It's especially good to have Say in that position where it seems like it's going that way. Because I'm really excited for her reaction. Like if Cedric put in 1 on her while saving her, set her off and was like, I'm not talking to you until tomorrow. Yeah. Let's see what happens now.
Yeah, I'm excited to see her go and say, she's eventually going to say, I put my trust, I tried to lay back, I laid low, and this happened. That's what happens when I lay low. Now I'm not laying low.
Oh, God.
That's what we're getting.
What does Say not laying low look like?
That's what I want to see. That's what we're going to see.
All right. I'll have to keep watching then for that at least.
Yeah. Charity goes home. Mitch throws the wonky vote at Cedric. Do we have any idea why he did that?
Wait, is that Say threw the vote?
No, Say threw it at Cedric.
At Cedric? Oh.
Yeah.
I thought Mitch. Oh, yeah, Say did. I question marks. Mitch voted and then I saw it. So
Mitch
Say voted.
Did look like super upset after with Charity going home. Like,
he did look upset.
He's got 2 tribal councils now. Neither of them have gone the way that he thought.
He has no idea. Like his world is upside down. He thought he had a pulse on the pulse read on this thing, and he does not. And that is a very hard wake up call. And then to have it happen twice in a row.
But Charity going home is actually very good for him because
he's
no longer tied to this. I don't think anyone kind of has an issue with him, but a lot of people clearly were not clicking with Charity. Yeah. So now he no longer has that weighing him down.
Yeah, blessing in disguise.
Yeah.
Who did Cedric vote for? Was he in the numbers?
He voted for Charity.
Okay.
Yeah. So say, why did she vote for Cedric? Is it just to start getting his name out there? Is it because she doesn't trust him at all anymore for anything? And we're going to get only Cedric votes from her until she's gone or he's gone?
She just had to get him back. Say's got to say. You can't rationalize it. You just have to let it be the beauty that it is.
Yeah, it's wonderful. I love it. And I love that it's still chaos. And I think we're going to get a lot next week from it. And I hope it just keeps going. Final thoughts before we go to Riley's reads is Charity exits. And then Jeff tosses the buffs to the group and everyone cheers.
Charity can probably hear them.
She can definitely hear them. She can 100%. She's in the little teeny shack in the distance on lockdown, pouting, wondering what went wrong by herself in isolation with maybe one handler hovering over her who's not allowed to speak to her at all until they get her closing words. And she hears a huge cheer and screams in the background. That's the extra brutalness of Survivor. Once you get voted out, it just hammers in a little bit more. And sorry for that, Charity. That's rough. I've been there. I've been there multiple times. So, yeah, that's it. Riley's reads. Coming straight from Riley. What do we got, Riley?
Run through a few categories here. We've kind of already touched on some of these, but what was your favorite moment of the episode?
My favorite moment of the episode, I think I already said was my favorite moment, and now I forget what it was. Remind me what I said it was.
I don't remember. Was it the milk?
No, it wasn't the milk, although I did like the milk. Oh, it was, I think it was Cedric in the challenge, just laying, like he could have relaxed and just like laid down planked the whole time, like it was 2012. And they just like hoisted him up this whole thing.
Poor Cedric.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Oh,
Reiman,
Lord.
favorite moment of the episode?
Yeah, I'm racking my brain. The low-hanging fruit is the milk. I mean, the way they bonded over it, my man.
Well,
Say
actually, the Say talking about the food, honestly, probably was even better than Cedric's performance in the challenge.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have anything else.
Okay, the milk, Ashleigh?
I won't say the milk this time. I was going to.
Yeah.
But I don't think they stayed on it too long, which I wish they could have stayed on it a little longer to make that a beautiful moment.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna say when Charity told Star to go grab, you need to get your idol back from Ava.
Yes.
And I was like, she is just way off base with like how everyone's working right now. And then Star went off and was like, hey, she told me to take back the idol. I just like, it's just such an awkward moment of she just had no clue what was going on with the game whatsoever.
Yeah. When you see people connected, you can't go to them and tell them to do something towards the other one because Charity doesn't have that rapport and that closeness with anybody there involved. So her doing that to Star was poor gameplay for sure and hilarious.
Yeah. When's the last time y'all have taken back a gift? Like, from somebody, just taking it back.
Yeah. I mean, in a scenario like that, maybe there's a situation where Star goes to Eve and was like, hey, I gave you that and I want you to have it. It's yours. But if I'm in danger, like, please help protect me.
Yep.
So, Riley, what's your favorite?
Mine is when Eva went to vote and she just says, everything looks like garlic.
Everything's shaped like garlic.
It's just a perfect Eva moment. Yeah.
Everything's
I'm glad
garlic
they left
shaped.
that in there. I'm sure that some cameraman was laughing at that and then they decided to leave it in.
Yeah, I wondered what that pen was. It looked like a weird pangolin claw or something like that.
We need a close-up look at it now.
So, okay, what else we got, Riley?
All right. Who on this episode advanced their game the most?
I mean, not just this episode, but I think Kyle and Camilla especially, and I think they're still too tied to each other to decipher or discern which one of them is in a better position. I'm kind of leaning towards Kyle right now, as he's like definitely a lock in the integrity group. He's with Camilla and can make the decision to jump ship, but also is high enough up in that integrity group that he could probably stay there for a while if he wanted.
Yeah, I think Star.
Yeah, I like that too.
I still am not on board with giving the idol in the first place. Obviously, when she gives it, she can't take it back. But this episode, I think, she remained super close and endeared to Eva. She was honest. The only person trying to put a wrinkle in that was voted out. And huge inroads with Cedric.
Yeah, no, I agree. I like that. Ashleigh?
I chose the same. I chose Star as well, because she, first with Ava last week, a little bit this week, and then with Cedric. And I'm like, okay, if she just keeps that up, keeps like making little bit of like connections to random people and random alliances, I'm thinking that she's just going to have a strong way to get further and further through the game.
Yeah. Riley?
I don't know. I struggle with this one. I think I'm going to say Kyle.
It's not that serious, Riley. It's
I
just
do
a
feel
TV
like
show.
Yeah. Well, I think I'll say Kyle.
Okay.
Even though I think that maybe winning immunity might start to paint a little target with him. There's also so many other physical competitors there that probably hasn't emerged yet.
Yeah. I want to switch mine to Star. Not to be against you, okay. Riley, but
we cannot agree. So
damn it, it's not to be me and Ashleigh versus you two, and it's either the strategic people win or the strategy transcendent season.
Yeah,
so you're flipping shit.
I'm flipping shit. Star had a great episode this week, and she's a slow burn into winning everyone over and being in a great position. And this episode, particularly, if that's the question, who did the most this episode, it's got to be Star. And you're right. Okay.
All right. The flip side of this is who, other than Charity, damaged their game the most?
I think Say just keeps naming names. She can't not name names. She can't not target people. She keeps saying she's going to lay low, and then she doesn't. But is she doing it so much that the GOAT strategy is working, even though she's maybe not aware that it's working? But I think Say. Reiman, what do you got?
Yeah, I have to agree with you. I'd like to be original, but the GOAT strategy is not even a strategy if you're trying to win. So, yeah, Say. I hate to say.
Say. Ashleigh?
I hate to say as well. She could have used this entire merge to change a few things and to make better connections with people she hasn't talked to. And instead, like, half the group doesn't like her. So something's wrong there. Yeah, I feel bad. I want to say somebody else, but I can't. It was Say. She's just kind of fucking up her whole groove here.
Yeah. Riley?
Yeah. I just love that we have a player who will drop a stray vote on the person who saved them at the last tribal count, literally 2 days
The last
prior.
two tribal
Yeah,
councils.
the last two. You're right.
Yeah.
Just unbelievable. I love Say.
Yeah.
But no, her game is in the gutter.
Yeah.
All right, let's do winner picks.
Okay. I'm ride or die from the beginning. My winner pick that I chose before the season started is still in, so I have to ride with Cedric still, even though he's not doing himself any favors.
Not looking great.
He could have a hero arc where all of a sudden he turns it all around, starts to understand the game, gets pulled into the right group, wins a challenge or two at the very end, and that's his story from disaster to hero. He could do it, but he's definitely got to make a lot of correct moves to get there. Reiman, you can choose whoever you want based on this episode alone. Generally, we do that, but this season we decided to just stick by our original winner picks until they were booted. So at this point in time, after watching this episode, who is your winner pick?
I'm figuring it out in real time right now. I think the only people who can win are Mitch, Star, Mary, Camila, Kyle. That's it. I think Kyle and Camila are too obvious. I'm going to pick Mary.
Okay.
I would like that a lot.
Yeah. Under the radar to the top. Okay.
Great
Ashleigh?
choice. Great choice, because that it was my pick a few episodes ago. Though my number one pick will always be Justin the Pizza Man.
R.I.P.
I hope he's doing okay. I hope his
R.I.P.
pizza business.
Yeah.
All right. Oh my goodness, that's really funny.
That was
Thank
lame
you.
sauce. That was lame sauce how he went out. I think that was a broken vote.
I'd say.
with
Yeah.
But
lost
yeah,
vote.
Mary is going to make it far. I have a feeling she is a game changer, like we said earlier, with her challenge abilities this episode. And I feel like she should just keep going. Also, she seems to be able to talk everyone's language. I noticed that when she's in everyone's groups,
Yeah.
she seems to be able to kind of chime in a little bit. And it's not too much for them to look at her and be like, what'd she just say? But enough to keep the conversation going. I think she's really good at just integrating herself into the groups. So just keep it up, girl. Keep going.
Yeah. I like it. Riley?
I've got Kyle still from preseason. So,
Yeah.
and feeling pretty good about it. There's a path.
Yeah. There's
so
a path for Kyle.
Sticking with him. And then final one, who is going home next week?
Ooh, home next week. Let's see. Say has an idol. She got a lot of votes on her. Doesn't
Wait,
Say
does
have
she
an
have an
idol?
idol? No.
Yeah.
She
She has an
played-
idol, right?
She found an idol and played it early in the season. She didn't. find
Oh,
another
she
one.
played it. Okay. Then Say. I thought she had an idol and she'd play it, but if she already got rid of her idol, if she doesn't find an idol or something to help her, it's Say.
Yeah, I'm gonna say David in a fantastic explosion of milk.
Yeah. Well, what do you think happens? Do you think the Integrity Alliance just self-destructs, or do you think?
I think they get betrayed. I think Kyle and Camila betray the Integrity
Jump ship.
Alliance. Yeah, I think the
And it's
Integrity
David.
Alliance is short-lived.
Okay, I like that. Ashleigh, who's going home next?
I think everyone's gonna think that Say's gonna go home. Like they're gonna think it's an easy vote. And I think someone's gonna twisty dooba dooba doo. And I think what they should do is probably get Eva next. I think that'd probably
get
be
rid
the
of
best.
the idol
Yeah, get rid of
early,
the idol early.
before she has any
Yeah.
inkling of that happening. I love
Yeah.
that. I actually really like that read right there. Riley?
I feel like it'll be one more easy vote, and I'm just going to stick with Say.
Okay. I feel like Say's wrong now after hearing Reiman and Ashleigh discuss. I need to look at the numbers more, because if Kyle and Camila are smart, they'll go with integrity until the last moment they can jump to the stragglers and have the majority.
Fair. I kind of like Ashley's pick more than mine now, though, because it does make a lot of sense for them to go against integrity if it means getting that idol out.
Yes, I do too. I like that too. All right. That'll do it at The Pod Has Spoken. Reiman, you have an Ecuadorian retreat getting over survivor trauma for former contestants. Is that positive and negative trauma? Is there such a thing as positive trauma, or is that called just a good experience?
Wow, what a question. Hard-hitting question. I mean, my perspective on life is that nothing is good or bad inherently. Everything is neutral. And whatever we go through is for our growth or our learning in the Earth School. So I wouldn't even call trauma bad, but there is a lot of trauma amongst the survivors. We all have a little PTSD. And I think when I announced what I was doing, people interpreted it as like an anti-survivor or bitter. But really, I view it as win-win. I view it as something that would be good for the show, probably to air on the tail end of season 50, probably to film this November. And yeah, I'm talking to former survivors now who are interested in healing and being in this retreat container to do practices, meditation, yoga, work with plant medicines, and have the space to have the conversations where they can process what they've been through. And I think it can spread a lot of healing to other survivors who don't even come, who watch, because we've all been through this crazy thing that it's hard to relate to if you haven't been through it. And it's right for healing.
Perfect. I like it. And we've talked about mental health and former survivor contestants multiple times here. Nalia earlier in the season. On season 3, 4? One of the two. On season 3 or 4. I keep
season
on
4.
season 4.
Season 4.
Said there's still pretty much daily she thinks about Survivor.
Yeah.
Over 20 years gone by since she was on the island, and it's still living in her brain, living in all of our brains. So I appreciate that. Where can people follow you to see what you're up to?
Substack is where we're hosting Light and Shadows, which is the overall docu-reality series. It's called Light and Shadows. Okay. It's on Substack, which is on the link in my bio on social media. We're also going to be putting things on YouTube and other places in the future, and catering also to international audience with Spanish and English. But for now, Substack, link in my bio, Light and Shadows.
Okay. Sounds great. Thank you so much for your time and energy, Reiman, and good luck with everything you're doing down there. Riley, always a pleasure when you end up popping in to, give us your takes on Survivor. Ashleigh, thank you for being here each and every time, for making us look and sound amazing. That'll do it this week, everyone. Until next week. Well, actually, we have a Mergatory special coming up this weekend. So tune in for that. Until then, see ya.